That's next.
And the heat is on for sure, folks. We're going to be dealing with some very warm temperatures, not only through this weekend, but for the foreseeable future. It looks like an early touch of summertime is here. Yeah, it's still spring. Can you believe it? We'll have your forecast coming right up. Well, it is graduation weekend for a lot of people in South and Central Texas. We're looking at, of course, you know, you want those thin gowns because it is really warm out there. 95 was our high today. X-Vision radar looking for anything, but there's nothing in our area. There are some storms in North Texas. Will they be moving in our direction? All that coming up ahead.
Wow, it already feels like summer. Mac is tracking some slight chances for rain coming up soon. Let's get the full forecast from him now. Hey, Mac.
Thank you very much, Katie. Good afternoon, everybody. As no doubt you are out there feeling the temperatures. I mean, we're looking at 95 as a high today. Our average high should be around 90, so it's a little bit early. And I always tell everybody this is the unusual time of the year. It's really springtime until, you know, late June. But then it's too early for the tropical storm season to start getting active. So both of those we watch this time of the year. As you can see on our satellite radar picture here, huge storms in northern Mexico and in Colorado. But as far as we're concerned, we're just completely out of the picture. The reason being very hot, stable, dry air on top of most of the state. We're watching and waiting for something to develop out of this cluster in about 2-3 days. Remnants of it may start drifting down into North Texas. But for today, hot and dry is the weather pattern for pretty much the entire state with a very stable atmosphere on top of us. Now, this is a very interesting cluster of storms. This is on the mountains of Monterrey, Mexico. Sometimes, or actually this particular cluster has a possibility of getting down near the Rio Grande. So we're watching that very carefully. But as far as we're concerned, we're just high and dry, nothing really happening for us. Temperatures again today all over the region were way above normal. Right now we're looking at 92 up in Dallas, 95 in Lampasas, and even Pleasanton is at 95 down south of San Antonio. This little stationary front right here is the reason that we're watching and having the possibility of anything moving in our direction. Today, the strong southeast wind takes all that Gulf air northward. As you can see, the storms are all on the periphery of that sinking high pressure. By the time we get into the middle of next week, this little stationary front is going to drop down a little bit farther and a little bit farther south and maybe get close enough to give us a little bit of activity sometime middle of next week. But for the short term, if you've got outdoor plans, you know, the swimming pool, tubing, it's all good right now. 90 up at Round Rock, 92 out at Camp Mabry, and Bergstrom is up at 93 right now. Of course, our official high was 95 degrees this afternoon. As you can see, the humidity is still up and will stay up until that little stationary front comes in later, but that's not until next week. For the short term, if you have outdoor plans, enjoy it. You're just going to have to be dealing with the hot weather. Today's temperatures in the mid-90s will stay with us until that little front comes through. When does it get here? Well, we'll take a look at that in your extended outlook. For tonight, mostly clear skies tonight with a low of 72, but with that south wind, we expect the return of that Gulf moisture. That'll give us a little bit of cloud cover in the morning hours. So if you're going out, if you got to do some gardening work, I do it early in the morning before the sun burns through all of that activity. And then temperatures again staying in the mid-70s. Your 7-day outlook, well, as you can see right about here, we're still way into the low 90s. The chance of showers will arrive Wednesday in the northern areas up toward, you know, above Waco. But by Thursday, we have that slight chance as we get down into our area for a little isolated shower or two. And then a little dry. You know, when I say 90, it's not so much the temperature, it's the humidity. So that's I'm going to call it a comfortable 90 if there is such a thing.
Yeah, I don't know with that humidity, but you're used to the heat. Mac knows Austin well. You said you're a UT grad, right?
Well, I went to UT when we didn't have 6th Street because it only went up to 5th Street back then.
Wow. Wow. You'll have to tell me more about that. Fill me in.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you here. Thank you so much,
Thank you, Katie.